Another greeting to everyone present over there. Me, Charanpreet M, and himself, my fellow mate Charan S. We are from the prestigious institution BGS PU College, representing the topic on Swadeshi. So, what is Swadeshi? Swadeshi is something which the products which are made by its own country and products produced over the seas. So, before diving into the topic, let's speak about our model which is made by Charan S and his team. Over to you, Charan.
As you all got to know about my introduction, myself Charan, this is Lakshmikant, Gautam and Kiran. Today we are here to present our project Swadeshi. Here you can observe two divisions. Towards my right side you can see the modern culture of Western culture which is adapted in India. Towards my left side you can see the ancient Indian culture. Now we are going to learn more information about Swadeshi. That would be explained by my friend Charanpreet. Over to you, Charanpreet.
So, as we all got into the model, let's get into the topic of Swadeshi. So, has anyone noticed the lines or sentence which are present here? It says that India is still a developing country. To make it more developed, encourage the Indian goods but not the foreign goods. So, let's get into the past of Swadeshi. Swadeshi movement was led in the 1905, where it means that as you all got to know the introduction of Swadeshi, which means the products which are made by its own country and produced is vast overseas. So it states actually Swadeshi movement was led due to the boycott of foreign goods, because the foreign goods were encouraged more at the time and exchanges of the foreign goods were more. So young society has to start to promote the Swadeshi in India to make the future India developed. So let's get into the history background the Swadeshi movement. So the Swadeshi movement was led by 1905 in the Bengal, the partition of Bengal, which was led by the Lord Curzon. Announced the partition of Bengal in 1905 by division of the Hindu and Muslim partition. So this was widely seen as divine and rule. So let's get to the next movement of Swadeshi. So did you recognize these three people in the Swadeshi? These three were the main roles of the Swadeshi movement. So these three trios helped in the Swadeshi movement, where the boycotting of the foreign goods and the national leadership voice against everyone. These were the main roles of this Pal, Bal and Lal. So let's get into the next topic. So boycott of the foreign goods led to the so extent that the Indians got tremendous and went to the clothes of the foreign goods, boycotting them and burning them out into ashes. And this led to the conflict between the foreigners and the Indians. These foreigners led to the conflict between the Indians. So this led to the Swadeshi movement. So Mahatma Gandhi was also the main role in this Swadeshi movement, which led to the most peaceful weapons of resistance and soul of Swaraj and integration to his philosophies. And his philosophies were read to most, and the boycotting of the foreign goods was less, and production of the Indian goods were started. So after boycotting of the foreign goods, all resisted the foreign goods, and they started to encourage the Indian goods. Like Indian goods like Khadi were introduced to India newly. So Khadi were introduced newly to the India, so it was very cost of more and living was more. So all who were present in the India were not affordable for the Khadi and returned to the foreign goods. So past was also the same thing. All encouraged the foreign goods itself instead of Indian goods. These were some enterprises which led to the growth in the Indian economy and production, so on overseas. The firstly are Jamsetji Tata in the 90s, who started with the mills and so on with the steel production like Tata Steels and Iron Steels. So let's go on to the what and all produced which gave a push to the Indian economy. These were some companies which gave a push to the Indian economy by the production of MNC companies, multinational companies like Godrej, Kishokakar and Bajaj groups, which helped in the GDP rate and economy rate of the India by the production over the seas. Presently the GDP and the economy rate of the India in the Swadeshi, where the current GDP rate is among 4 trillion in the 2025, $4 trillion, but presently from the These are some research which took place in the GDP of 2024 to 2025, and these are the prediction for the 2025 to 2026. He was the man who contributed India when it was in the depth in the economy and the GDP rate. His name is Manmohan Singh, the great leader who ruled for one decade. So contribution of the Manmohan Singh were, he helped in the GDP rate by the 7% for the India and economy rate in the 2008 to till 2014. So he helped in the GDP rate by increasing from the billions to the trillions. So getting to the next topic, we are known about the multinational companies which are giving the fight to the foreign companies, so on. So these are some Indian companies and these are some foreign companies which are giving fight together. MNC, multinational companies were like Tata, Reliance, SBI and so on companies which are produced in India are giving the fight to the companies like Microsoft, Apple and Amazon, which are the foreign companies. It is the equivalent sources which says that the Indian goods or Indian products are equivalent to the foreign products. So let's get into the next topic. MNC companies which developed India. These were the some MNC companies which developed India as the most far. Like Tata, who in the absence of him, the Ratan Tata, who led MNC companies in the many vast of the foreign. So let's come on with the Infosys, who well known as Narsim Murthy. He made the 10,000 rupees computer in the presence, and he so on has a production of more. These are some MNC companies which you can go on through. Next. So not only the contribution of the other leaders, are also main leader who is been Prime Minister since 2014 and so on, Narendra Modi, who has contributed the GDP rate and the economic rate in the India, who has left many more MNC companies to so on go on overseas and give a compete with the foreign companies. So he has contributed a many make India for the world, make India for the world, not only for ourselves, like electronics, pharmaceuticals and textile industries which are distributing overseas. So he has contributed India like now presently India is the fourth. So India is known for the largest fourth economy in the world presently. So it has $4 trillion of assets in the present. So GDP rate has also increased by the 7% presently. So let's go on with the import system. Why there are more imports? India is having more resources, but also the import rates are more in India compared to the other countries. Like import rises from 4.3%, like in the numericals $375 billion, like which the fertilizers which are produced like cow dung, which are useful for the plantations, which are only produced in India, but we are taking the fertilizers from the overall countries. So reduce the imports and increase the exports in the India. So let's go on with the conclusion of the topic by boosting domestic manufacturing, by saying that make India into a 2.0 and making India the vast more exporters. And by 2030, the sector says that the digital services and so on are going to increase in India. So by 2040, the government aims to raise the India to share the global GDP from 3.4% to the 8 to 10%. So I just want to conclude by saying that make India the producers, not the receivers. Thank you.